Imagine you're at a party and you're trying to strike a conversation with a colleague. Well, you've rehearsed all you want to say. Your words, they're all clear. Your sentences, they're all well structured. Yet, as you talked, you notice, hey, the person that you're talking to is turning slightly away. His eyes are glazing over and he signals disinterest. But despite having polished speaking skills, something isn't clicking. Why? I tell you, everybody, because competence is communication isn't just about the words you say, but the understanding of the full picture. Not only it's all about you, your words, but also it encompasses the one that you're talking to, his reactions, cultural nuances, and even unspoken cues that flow through every interaction. Many people believe that being communicatively competent is solely about being or having strong speaking abilities. While speaking is essential, it's just one part of the equation. So I'll tell you how to put forward holistic communicative competence. And we're gonna ensure that your communication is going to be effective and meaningful. Well, let's start off with the term competence. In order for us to become competent in communication, we need to understand where the term competence comes from. So it's derived from the Latin competentia, meaning meeting together or agreement. So here's the thing, it denotes sufficiency and ability to do something well. For example, this is you and this is the task that you need to undertake. The bridge that connects the two together is competence or competencia. There's a need for the two to meet together so that the task can be done effectively. So this one implies that having the necessary knowledge. Okay, so communicative competence necessarily implies that we have the knowledge and skills to communicate effectively and appropriately. And here's the thing, the concept of communicative competence is not new. It was first introduced by the sociolinguist Delheims in the 1960s. He proposed this idea as a response to Noam Chomsky's notion of linguistic competence. So here you go. Let's talk about the different types of communicative competence. First up is the grammatical competence, coming from the term itself, grammar. So this is the ability to utilize and to produce and to understand grammar, vocabulary, and many more. For example, if you know the meaning of the term amiable or catalyst, then you're good in grammatical competence. Then if you know some of the rules related to grammar, such as subject-verb agreement, pronoun-antecedent agreement, tenses, even the special ones, the conditionals, and the subjective tense, then you're good at it. Plus point for grammatical competence. Well, let's concretize this. If you know how to utilize is and are, you're gonna use is for singular subjects. She is going to the store, good. And if you know how to utilize are, for example, Maria and Mike are going to the plaza, good point, grammatical competent. This one is usually being tested by the teachers, more particularly in English language classrooms. So you would see yourself taking exams related to it, or you're teaching, discussing such topics. Number 2, sociolinguistic competence. Social factors, linguistic, language, combine them together, there you go. We have sociolinguistic competence. This is the ability to use language appropriately in the social context. We need to take account as well factors like politeness, formality, and social roles. For example, if you're talking to the college president, you won't say, "Hey, what's up, mama? I have some good news for you." That's not how you talk to a person of authority. You need to put forward politeness. "Good morning, ma'am. I have news to tell, and would you be so kind to open your door because I'll discuss that Well, here's the thing. Social factors play an important role. For example, you're talking to a group of friends, your colleagues. You, of course, won't just become so formal there. You need to appropriate that. Sometimes it may have some occasional cussing, or your language is different. It's more informal than when you're talking to your parents or when you're talking to a boss or supervisor or to your teacher. If you know as well some intercultural knowledge and skills, that's a plus point for your competence in that area, sociolinguistic. If you understand that Indians make their heads move right to left to signify agreement, and that Indians or Thais utilize this movement to signify respect, then that's a good point for your social-linguistic competence. Double the points if you do not try to force your own culture onto others and instead try to respect those things. Let me just add there's this people first language. If you know how to utilize that, plus point for your social-linguistic competence. This refers to removing condition from the person. For example, you do not tell people he's an autistic person, a diabetic person, a disabled person. You're gonna say a person with autism or person with disability. From there, we try to make that people are not victims of their situations, but instead we separate the two together. Then we've got discourse competence. Discourse, coming from the Latin word discursus, meaning running to and fro. Well, this relates to the flow and organization of spoken and written language. Therefore, discourse competence is the ability to produce and interpret extended texts, like essays, research, and even conversations and presentations. But make sure that all these things should be, connected, coherent, and cohesive. There are many people I know who are very good in grammatical competence. They know the language, they know the grammar, but lack in terms of discourse competence. They cannot integrate their ideas coherently, making and then they're having a hard time with essays. So a well-structured essay should be a clear one with introduction, with body, with conclusion. It should not be disjointed, like it's random thoughts, because there's no central idea or unity that would bind them together. The same thing in terms of presentations. So if you see somebody doing a 5-minute presentation about a certain work, very important that guy wouldn't try to have a 4-minute talk and then 1 minute only for the results. That's a big no-no for discourse competence. Well, if you know how to undertake research as well, okay, or maybe some articles, because there are chapters there that you need to put forward together, then there you go, plus point for your discourse competence. Oh, I need to add this. If you put forward, if you know how to utilize transitional phrases, like building on that point, however, to illustrate further, that's something that would elevate your discourse competence because you make your argument flow smoothly. Lastly, we've got strategic competence. Coming from the term itself, strategic, you need to have some sort of tactical approach to overcoming something, okay? And in this case, in strategic competence, well, it's a common knowledge that during the communication process, there will be some problems along the way. And strategic competence now will play a role there, because this one refers to the ability to utilize communication strategies, and so that you can manage your problems and breakdowns in terms of communication, so that you can achieve the purpose or the intended outcome. I've got many examples for you. Number one, like you don't know the word and you're trying to describe it instead. For example, you forgot the term gravy and you're gonna say something near to ketchup and mustard. This is color brown. It's not sticky, but you like putting that in your chicken and so on. Oh, Missy Pepper? Oh, gravy! Yeah, you help the other party try to understand what you meant. Another thing, perhaps, you forgot something and you instead utilize your hand. You gesture it. Let me see, what's this? Something, it's long and you look on it. Oh, I now know. A trumpet? No, I'm just kidding. There you go, a telescope. You use your hands, okay? Or perhaps, if you're talking to an audience who knows both English and Filipino and you're having a hard time to express yourself in full-blown English, then you utilize Tagalog. For example, in the Philippine context, Tagalog, you use that language because what matters most is communication. You were able to relegate what you meant to them. Kaya, alamin. Kaya, it's fine. Kapag kailangan mag-Taglish, you do that. Overall, this is what I tell you. Communicative competence is multifaceted, and nothing there is inferior or superior. Like grammatical is superior than sociolinguistic and so on. All these things, grammatical, sociolinguistic, discourse, and strategic, are important, and you need to master them so that it enables you to not only produce a language that would navigate in various contexts, but also it makes you become meaningful and effective. Make your communication powerful. Good luck. To